I don't even know if I can label these as rumors because it's going on, it's happening. Deion Sanders is talking to some other schools, and when I tell you the names of these schools, it's going to shock you. I know it will because it shocked me. I didn't believe it, and it's still hard for me to believe. I guess I'm having a hard time trying to figure out and rationalize why he would even go to these schools. Ladies and gentlemen, the college football landscape, not just one area, but every aspect of it, it's going crazy. On one side of it, you got this mess going on with the college football playoff. A lot of people aren't happy with the rankings. Who deserves to be in there? Who knows? On the other side of it, you got rumors, and not just rumors, but lies being made up about Lane Kiffin going to Auburn. Is he going to stay at Ole Miss? Is he going to leave? Who knows about that? And now, what we got to get into in today's video is the stuff going on with Deion Sanders, aka Prime Time. I remember saying this and talking about it just like it was yesterday, referring to last season. I thought last year's college football season was as entertaining as it could get. From the Heisman race to the controversy going on with Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma to also the drama going on with Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams. And then out of nowhere, Brian Kelly makes an announcement he's leaving Notre Dame. Nobody saw that coming, and he's going to be the new head coach at LSU. And to put the cherry on top, we had one of the craziest finishes ever. Alabama destroys Georgia in the SEC championship, and Georgia gets their revenge in the national championship. And I know there's a lot of other minor things I missed here and there, but that was the major ones that I remember. I also remember telling myself this after the year ended. I said, man, I just don't know if we can have another year, another season that entertaining. And well, here we are in 2022, and I already believe this season has topped last year's. I can't even sit here and try to begin to explain what's all happened up to this point because this would be a 50-minute video. You guys know it's been chaotic, and maybe the crazier part about it is we haven't even gotten to rival week. It's only going to continue to get more chaotic, and as a college football fan myself, I'm all here for it. I love it. However, with all that stuff being said, sorry for the long intro by the way, we're here to talk about what's currently going on with Deion Sanders. I don't even know if I can label these as rumors because it's going on, it's happening. Deion Sanders is talking to some other schools, and when I tell you the names of these schools, it's going to shock you. I know it will because it shocked me. I didn't believe it, and it's still hard for me to believe. I guess I'm having a hard time trying to figure out and rationalize why he would even go to these schools. That's where I stand on it. We're going to talk all about it in today's video. All right, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First thing is first, I want to talk about the new rankings that came out last night like every single Tuesday, and I'm only going to talk about it briefly because I don't want to get amped up. I'm going to show you the rankings right here. As you can see on your screen, it's pretty much how I expected it to be, and I don't know why people are making a big deal out of this because I think the committee got it right. You got Georgia, number 1, B, Ohio State at 2, Michigan at 3, TCU at 4, LSU at 5, USC at 6, Alabama at 7, talk about that in just a second, Clemson at 8, Oregon at 9, and Tennessee at 10, and outside of that, it don't matter. You're irrelevant. And honestly, at this point, if you're not in the top 8, you have no chance whatsoever. And even saying that Alabama and Clemson has a chance, that's a stretch. But like I said, I'll talk about that in a different video. Me personally, I normally don't even watch the ranking show, and I didn't even check these rankings till this morning because I expected it to be this way, and I thought everybody was going to be okay with it, but apparently they're not. Everyone's having an outrage that number 1, LSU is at number 5 over USC, and number 2, Tennessee is behind LSU and Alabama. Just like this tweet says, got over 3,000 likes, which goes to tell you there's 3,000 idiots out there that agree with this. I'm sorry, but LSU at 5 over USC and Alabama at 7 over Clemson is an absolute joke. SEC bias is alive and well. And this tweet got over 15,000 likes from Robert Griffin III, and let me just tell y'all this. When it comes to some of the corniest of cornball announcers that do games, Robert Griffin's up there with the best of them. If you've ever heard RG3 announce a college football game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I like the guy. He brings great energy, but some of the jokes and dad jokes he tries to say is a little too much. Anyways, he said, the committee really showing that SEC bias with a 9-2 LSU over 10-1 USC and 9-2 Alabama ahead of 10-1 Clemson. Now, I'm going to ask all of you a question. As most of you know, I'm an SEC fan. So keep that in the back of your mind. As an SEC fan, if I were to tell you the SEC is the best conference in the country, Is that me being SEC biased, or is that a fact? Last time I checked, the SEC's won like 13 out of the last 15 national titles. The last time I checked, the SEC has the most 4- and 5-star recruits. The last time I checked, the SEC isn't just slightly better than all of these other conferences, they're 2 times better. Whoever you want to try to argue and say is the second best conference in the country this year, the gap between the SEC and the number 2 conference, not even on the same scale. So with that being said, yes, an SEC team is going to get the benefit of the doubt, and they're going to get some of that quote-unquote SEC bias more than a team out of the sorry and beyond sucky, pitiful, and embarrassing ACC and Pac-12. The ACC is beyond a cupcake conference, and the Pac-12, we all know, they've been flat out embarrassing and flat out atrocious the past 8 to 10 years. Let me make this extremely clear. Everyone in the Pac-12 is average except for USC, and I'll label them as good. They're not great, they're good. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. They are all mediocre teams outside of USC. And where the difference shows, it isn't really the skilled position, but it's in the trenches. You take a couple of the best teams in the Pac-12, like in Oregon, UCLA, and Utah, put them in the SEC, see what happens. In the trenches, they're going to get run over. Oh yeah, by the way, one of your best teams, Utah, you lost to Florida, and Florida is arguably one of the worst teams in the SEC. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Wasn't there another top team in the Pac-12 that lost to an SEC team? Oh yeah, that's right. Oregon, they didn't just lose, they lost by 50 points to Georgia. I don't care if Georgia's the number 1 team in the country. Losing by 50? Come on, man. Y'all know how I feel about the overrated Big Ten, but the Big Ten, they have dudes to compete. They have trenches. The Pac-12, they suck. The Pac-12 sucks. You can't convince me otherwise. And I'm not too convinced that if USC and Georgia play tomorrow, Georgia wouldn't beat them by 40. The only reason I will give USC credit and I will praise them here and there is because Caleb Williams is special and I believe in Lincoln Riley. I'm going to give the committee this. At least they're smart. They understand the Pac-12 sucks, and a 2-loss SEC team is more impressive than a 1-loss Pac-12 team. If you believe otherwise, I don't even know what to tell you. You're a lost cause. As far as it goes for Alabama being ranked ahead of Clemson, I don't even understand what the argument is. Have you seen Clemson play this year? They're not that good. They don't even know what they're doing at the quarterback position. I'm not even a fan of Clemson being in the top 10 just because DJ Ugabadoogie is about as average as it gets. And for all these people clamoring about this, I bet if you got to put your money where your mouth is and Clemson and Alabama play tomorrow night, none of you are betting on Clemson. It's just people in the college football community, they want to cry and complain about SEC bias when it's not biased. The SEC is just the best. And if you want to take a deep dive into things, I'm not going to do that. But I hope some of you know and realize the committee just doesn't look at Clemson's 1 loss and Alabama's 2 loss and ranks them that way. They look at how they lost. They look at how they win. And the bottom line is 2 of Alabama's losses have came by a total of 4 points. Clemson's 1 loss, yeah, maybe just 1 loss, but you got embarrassed by Notre Dame. I mean, come on now, we're talking about Notre Dame, no disrespect, but they're not that good. This is the same team that lost to Marshall and they embarrassed you. The score was really 35-0 until Notre Dame took their foot off the gas. And I already know you got some people running to the comment section. Oh, Matt, well, yeah, Alabama was close to winning those losses, but they're also very close to being 5-5. They've also won 2 or 3 games by a couple of points. Listen here, you bozo. I understand that. I'll be the first person to tell you that, and I've said that. If you want to start doing all that, I can also say, hey, Michigan's only 2 points away from losing to Illinois. Do I think this Alabama team is really great? Do I think they deserve to be in the playoff? Heck to the no. This is one of the worst Alabama teams I've ever witnessed under Nick Saban, but when you look at the rest of the field, does TCU really deserve to be in the playoff? Does Michigan? Does LSU? Does USC? Ohio State? No. The only team you can sit there and point to and say, hey, they deserve to be in this 14 playoff is Georgia. Outside of that, it's a coin flip. I've already talked about this too much. Let me know your thoughts down below. We got to move on to the main topic, the main encore. The main reason you clicked onto this video, we got to talk about prime time. Yeah, we're just jumping straight into it. It is being reported and said that Deion Sanders, and by the way, the source is Bleacher Report for those of you wanting to know, Deion Sanders is in talks with Colorado and South Florida to fill their head coaching vacancies. Yeah, that's interesting. Colorado and South Florida. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. I kind of feel like if Deion Sanders, and I don't just feel this way, I personally believe if he were to leave Jackson State, it'd have to be for a bigger program, like a big name brand like Auburn. I think Auburn should have went after him first, but apparently it's looking like Auburn's number 1 target is Lane Kiffin. It just seems a little too far-fetched to me. The Colorado one, doesn't make too much sense, but I can try to rationalize the South Florida one. Deion Sanders played football at Florida State, so he's familiar with the area. And I've seen a lot of people saying stuff like this, and I'm not even too sure what point they're trying to make. If he leaves JSU now, after all the build the brand stuff he's been preaching about HBCUs, the things the other HBCU coaches are saying about him will be proven true. I don't know what they're trying to say, because ever since day one, when Deion Sanders is asked about if he's going to leave Jackson State for another job, if he's going to entertain another job, he always says yes. It'd be different if Deion's like, oh, I'm never leaving Jackson State and I'm never entertaining other jobs, but he hasn't said that. Also seen a bunch of people say stuff like this. Imagine selling Travis Hunter the HBCU stuff, then leaving under that, and this is what I've been trying to tell everybody, Travis Hunter and the other JSU recruits will go wherever Deion goes. 100% right, whether he goes to Auburn, Colorado, South Florida, wherever, he's going to take his son with him, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and some other recruits. This is common sense, and it's the beauty of the transfer portal. You don't have to sit down a year, you can play right away, which I love. The reason I love it is because, yeah, is there going to be some negatives to it? Of course, players don't have to face adversity anymore and push through hard times. But whenever a coach, for example, Lincoln Riley last year, when he announced he's going from Oklahoma to USC, he didn't have to sit out a year. At the end of the day, yeah, you got to work to be a head coach, and the AD and all the people above, they matter, but the players make the game what it is. Without the players, you have nothing, so I'm all for players having power. Not gonna lie to y'all, I don't know too much about USF and Colorado, but apparently, according to this tweet, they got a new $3 million locker room renovation. And also, they're getting a new $300 million campus in 2026. That makes a lot of sense to me because Deion Sanders, we all know, he can recruit anywhere, but you put him in the state of Florida, I think he can recruit with the big dogs. The USF one, yeah, maybe it's not as big as Florida State, Florida Miami, but I think he's set up to succeed. As far as it goes for Colorado, check out what this person had to say. Why is Colorado a bad job? One of the better, if not the best college campus in the US, solid fan support, new facilities, tradition, and history. It's easy to change a program with the transfer portal, just need a winning coach that can construct a solid vision and bring it to life. You're 100% right on that, my friend. Unfortunately, I can't sit up here and try to even make sense as to why he would go to Colorado. The best way to describe it, it doesn't feel like Deion Sanders. USF does. I have no idea where this is going to go moving forward. I didn't even think he'd be considering USF and Colorado. You never know what's going to happen. I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But